I sang the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 530. It's Saturday, June 29th, 2013, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Plus we bring you the segment Into an Interview, where you'll hear part 2 of my interview with singer-songwriter Gabrielle Graves.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And right now I wish I was at the beach being splashed about by waves.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But instead I'm here at the last place on earth, which we have buried the last place on earth underground so that we'll be a lot cooler. And air conditioning is so unsound. However, now in retrospect, it looks like it would have cost a lot less to just air condition the place. So welcome to my subterranean show amongst our subterranean race. Basil the Boxer is trying his best to stay cool.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I had fun with my friend Mike Ockett. We hung out. I knew him back in high school.
Mike's
And so we
Daily
drank beers last night
Podcast.
and talked all about our high school days. And then this morning we went and got one of the amazing huge apple fritters that they sell at Rudy's Donut Shop in Podcastro Valley, California. And then we went and got a coffee at Pete's, where I have told you about the lovely barista Kat that works there. Well, she wasn't working there when I got there, but then suddenly she walked in, and it was as if the clouds parted and a sun ray came beaming down and shone upon her as she walked in. As the light shone on her, it illuminated her pathway. And suddenly, some bald guy comes up to her and, asks her out. And it wasn't me. She must attract the bald guys. She has the power. The Kavorka. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, my friends. It's Chely Shoehart, the shop supervisor, and if you want to, talk to a girl, you just need to go up to her and talk to her. Don't pay attention to anything if a bunch of bald guys are trying to talk to her.
No, I should just ignore that?
Yeah. She sees every bald guy that walks up to her as, another bald guy that's walking up to her.
So you're saying she's completely desensitized to bald guys?
Yeah, possibly. Or she's gay.
Whatever. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the engineer, Mike. We are trying everything we can to make this heat wave go away. Thank you. Yes, that would be very helpful. However, it is nice because a lot of the pretty women wear less clothing. And I guess conversely, the good-looking guys wear less clothing. And the ugly guys. You see a lot of white beer bellies exposed when there's a heat wave about in Northern California. Mike, that's what they invented sunglasses for! Oh, excellent. How did you know that? Because I'm Floyd the Floorman! As you are. And I've been getting texts from my friend Mike Ockett from high school who was visiting, who was heading back to Ventura, where we went to school and first met back when we were young. And he wrote me this text as he's driving back there. He says, I am stuck at a fire. He's taking the 101 down, which for those of you who aren't in California, it's the highway that you've heard of, the 101 highway. It's kind of a popular one. And it goes down, kind of goes along the water for a bit. It's not the Pacific Coast Highway number 1. That one, it's a different one. Anyway, so we wish him the best getting back down to Ventura on a hot Saturday. Probably not the best day to travel. But Cher made some interesting comments last night on, of all places, Bravo. Let's see, Bravo appeals to gay men. She was on a Bravo television show hosted by a gay man. Do you think it possibly all was, what's the word? Synergistic? Symbiotic? Anyway, Cher apparently told Andy a lot of interesting information, including that Tom Cruise was one of the top 5 greatest lovers ever for her, one of her top 5 greatest lovers. And this is before Tom Cruise was married to his first wife, Mimi Rogers, and before he became a global film star. Yes, she was on Bravo's Watch What Happens live. She said that her list of lovers is not a long list, it's just a good list. Mike, I'm waiting for Project Runway to come back on Bravo. When will it come back? It's not going to come back. It's on Lifetime now. What? Yeah, it switched networks. This was a while ago. Where have you been? In a cave. Actually, we are in a cave. As I mentioned earlier, we're underground here at the last place on Earth. Thank you so much, John Deere, the engineer, for engineering that feat, putting us underground so it'd be cooler. Yes, Mike, and it would have been cheaper just to get air conditioners. I know. I mentioned that at the top of the show. We just didn't think of it at the time. I thought of it. So as you did, as the world turns. So, what do you think about Tom Cruise actually being a good lover for Cher? Never really paired those two up, but Cher was with that guy from Bon Jovi for a while, Richie Sambora, so what do I know? I know a lot of crap that's probably useless. That's what I know. Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. You can also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section Emails from Email. Also, check out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. That's where you can go to find our link in iTunes. You can subscribe to us there, get the shows as soon as I post them. And you can also rate the show and comment on the show so more people find out about us there. The link you can find at Mike's Daily Podcast, as well as links to where to find us on Facebook, YouTube, Yelp, Twitter, and SoundCloud, where you can listen to the show on SoundCloud, you can listen to it on YouTube, and you can listen to it on Spreaker.com. All there at mikesdailypodcast.com, as well as the blog and the podcast picture of the day. Oh, yes, and the Amazon deal of the day. What could it be today? Ooh, it's noise isolating metal headphones. 63% off. Get those now. And walk around and look all cool with those on until I come around and snap them off your head. And no, I wouldn't do that. I'm wearing some headphones now that I've had for more than 5 years that I got from the wonderful Tina Brooks, who I used to work with, and they still work, thankfully. And that's amazing because I drop headphones like someone sitting in a Hollywood coffee bean and tea leaf dropping names. It's a lot of dropping. So buy those headphones through the window you find on the mikesdailypodcast.com site, and we see a little bit of money. It's wonderful at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Into an interview.
We are speaking with Gabrielle Graves. She is on her cell phone walking around some beautiful area in Washington right now. And I'm so jealous.
I'm jealous of myself, too, if that makes any sense, because I know this is just very short-lived.
Well, enjoy it, because that's really cool. And you have been putting together this album, this limited edition EP, self-titled Gabrielle Graves. What's the process been putting it together?
Oh, yeah, you know what? You asked me that about my uncle and stuff, and I kind of didn't really answer that part of that question.
I just ignored it. I figured you didn't want to talk about it, and so,
No, because I listened to the question, and then I only answer part of questions, which is weird, because I think I just forget about the other part of the question, so I will revisit that now.
Okay, go for it.
So,
the door is wide open.
Uncle, yeah, awesome. So my uncle, I started writing music, blah, 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 stopped writing. Then I started again. It was just this really, my parents got divorced, and there was like all this stuff that I had that was like festering that I felt like I needed to put somewhere. And so writing became this kind of outlet that I could pour all of that, whether it be like negative energy or positive energy, just put it somewhere, because I just think too much, and if I just keep doing that, it just I drive myself crazy. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I started writing again, and I sucked really, 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 really bad. I'm not saying that I'm amazing, but I am a lot better than I was, which is good. Progress is always good, and I do believe that it has its. There is a very, very large part that goes to my uncle for that, because I don't even think. I think he'll probably tell you this too. He didn't really believe that I could, not necessarily that I could do it, but that I was willing to do the work. And you know, if you're not just born with a beautiful like songbird voice, like I know a lot of people have. I know a lot of my friends just have these phenomenal voices. You know, walking out of the room, and I was not that person, and I really had to work really hard. And I think every time I would come back in and we'd work a little bit more on my voice and stuff, it would get better and it would get better. And I think he slowly started believing that I was maybe willing to put in that work. And you know, I still have a whole ton of work to do, but I'm progressing, and that's always a good thing.
And what was your uncle in a band or something? What was his musical background?
Well, he was a while ago. Not like I don't think like a really known band, but he did get a record deal just himself, you know, because it was like after the 90s when you know, they don't want to sign full bands, they just want the solo person, and they'll put a band behind you and they'll do that, but it's just too expensive and all that fun stuff. So he turned it down because they wouldn't take the whole band, from what I understand. This is from what he tells me, but and you know, kicks himself for it because he could have been. So I get a lot of guidance and advice. I think my you know, as much as David's great and everything, I think ultimately I have my dad, who is my biggest critic and also my biggest fan, and I have my uncle, who are just they're just a great team, and they, you know, I know they have my back.
What is some advice your dad's giving you? There was a quote on your website, something like, either you have, everybody's got something, but nobody has everything.
Everything. Yeah, which I think was really beautiful. I don't know who said it, probably Steve Martin or some genius, but but he said that, you know, because I would work my ass off, like, honestly, and I had a lot of friends around me that didn't have to work as hard, and they just kind of had it, and I would just be really upset, and I'd play a show, and then I'd be in the car, and I'd call my dad, and he'd always be like, you know, that was okay, but you should do this next time. And I just always, you know, beat myself up about it. And he's like, you know, everybody has something, nobody has everything. Like, I have things that I'm very good at that other people have to work really hard to have as well. And it goes both ways. So you just gotta just realize what your weaknesses are and work on those instead of run away from them. And I don't know, that really made me feel human, I guess. And like, it's okay that nobody is perfect.
Right. Gabrielle, it builds character. It builds character.
I know.
And you've got enough character to be in $50. You bet so much now. Cue it as a button. Okay.
Aw.
So you played some open mics.
Yeah.
I've been talking about open mics a lot on my podcast because I went to an open mic on Tuesday night, and they did the thing where I showed up early, well, like a minute early, and you know, when they put down the sign-up list, and apparently it's not a sign-up list. You put your name on a piece of paper and they stick it in a goldfish bowl, and then they pull a name out. And then they say,
I've seen those.
I hate that because it just makes everybody. So I ended up not playing because I was like way at the end, and that would have been at 3 a.m. or something. And I'm like,
I know it's really not. I don't think it's really fair because, you know, if you get there first, then you get to sign up first. That's how it is.
Right.
You know, because I've done that too, and I ended up not playing until like they were closing. I mean, it was just not. And I was there the whole time. I mean, I think it's their way of making sure that there's an audience to watch everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Which is not really, I mean, it's kind of
that's
conniving, if you ask me.
It is. Very conniving. Well, you've played some open mics, and overall, how was that experience?
It's good. It's good usually.
Yeah.
they get better, and then they get worse, and then they get better again. It's a roller coaster. Because you never know what you're going to get. You never know. You never know what the crowd's going to be like. But that's like with any show. You just never really. And that's another thing too, is that you never know what people are thinking. Mm-hmm. Although you like to think you do. You know, when I'm standing up there, at least I always see random people that are just staring at me and just staring daggers at me. I just feel so uncomfortable, and it's not because, you know, a lot of people know to smile at you and like they're encouraging, but then you get those people that are just super, super, super serious, and I try and joke and, you know, say things in between my songs to, you know, break the ice, and it usually works. Yeah. But, you know, it's really interesting because the people that are staring at you so intently, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but are most of the time, in my experience, they're the people that come up to you and they give you the most applaud to your face. You know, they love your stuff, and for me at least, that's been my experience. So I just kind of had to let that go, especially at open mics, because I never know. Usually I'll just go to an open mic and I have never actually even seen it like done at all. I just show up and play. Yeah. And so I don't really know what the atmosphere is like. I don't know what the people that, you know, and the people that work there, it's really important that you get along with them too, because that's you know, you want to go back and you want to feel comfortable. And for me, I haven't had any bad luck. Just the, you know, the drawing out of the hat thing. I don't love that, because it also creates another aspect of like anticipation, that like as if playing for a bunch of people that you don't know and like pouring your like soul out to them in the form of like your music, like as if that wasn't enough anticipation, like add on another, you don't know if you're going to play here or there or at what time, you know, if you add that on, it's just like a whole nother world of hurt that you don't really need. But,
yeah, it's yeah,
I know you know how I feel.
Yeah, that's the world of open mics for those. Now, I mean, if you're going just as a spectator, it can be a lot of fun because you see the good, the bad, and you're just like, but yeah, if you are actually performing, it's sort of like, is anyone even paying attention to me performing now? Or, you know, should I just leave?
Yeah.
But
yeah, sometimes you have to just accept that you're just background noise. And then, you know, there have been like a handful of times or maybe more that like I thought no one was listening, and then one song I play gets everybody's attention, and then I have them. And sometimes that's all you have to do. You just have to grab them, you know? You have to, it's almost like, it's not so much a gimmick as it is, I don't know what it would be, but you have to have something that's different, that, you know, it's like reading a book, and if you don't like the first couple pages, you're more than likely not going to continue reading unless you've either heard really good things about it or you just really think it'll turn out for the better. But
no, you're right. Yeah, you have to have something that grabs their attention. You lead with your best material, hopefully, you know, with your like comedians when they're getting all into the comedy biz and they're doing all those shows that they do at the very beginning, and but you could never be background noise to me, Gabrielle Graves.
Oh, thank you. That's okay if I am, though.
Well, let's play the song You Did This. Tell me a little bit about this one.
You Did This. Oh, you know what's hilarious? This is so embarrassing. I totally described You Did This in the last segment, and I completely didn't even think about the fact that you were not even asking about that song. So you were talking about verbal abuse. No, you were talking about You Did This when you were talking about verbal abuse. That's true.
Okay, so if you want to know what today's song is about, you have to go back to listen to yesterday's show. And what she's saying about verbal abuse is really about this song that we're about to play. But, so then what's verbal abuse about then?
So verbal abuse is my, this is a funny song. I wrote this song, I was never really a heavy drinker until I started playing music. I'm not saying I'm not saying I drink too much, but I will say that it is hard to tell when I'm hungover anymore because it's very frequent. So I played this song before, and when I play it live, I used to ask people, like, raise your hand if you've ever been too drunk. And everybody raises their hand. And then I say, all right, well, raise your hand if you've ever been too drunk and maybe been a little hurtful to, like, yourself or, like, to someone else. Like, not like, physically hurtful, but, like, you know, like, bringing yourself down or, you know. And everybody puts their hands down every time.
Oh, really?
And I think it's very funny. Yeah, and that's kind of what this song is about. It's kind of like my ode to, like, drinking too much. And I kind of, I went, like, I've known people to, like, freak out when they get drunk and ask for their keys and accuse people of, like, taking them, and, like, numerous people. And so there's a line in there, it's like, are you going to stand there and help me find what I'm looking for? And it's kind of like what I've seen, not necessarily what I've been, but, because I'm not usually, like, a violent drunk.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good. You know, it's good for me and the people around me. I think they probably appreciate that. I've seen it happen, and I just thought I'd write a song about it
Interesting.
Because it happens very frequently.
Okay, now that's the song we played yesterday, Verbal Abuse.
That's the song from yesterday. Yeah.
But we're gonna play now. You Did This, and if you want to know what that's about, go back and listen to yesterday's show. And let's play it now. It is Gabrielle Graves. Find out more about her at GabrielleGraves.com on Mike's Daily Podcast.
When down in your house, knocked on your door, what did I see? She don't look like me, blonde and long legs staring at me. I guess I came at the wrong time. I guess I came at the wrong time. You did this to yourself, now you find somebody else. Put my shit back on the shelf, bring regrets with you to hell. Well, I wish I cared more, but I guess I'm signing out. Oh, you did this to yourself, now it's good woman, there's no doubt at all. Went down to my house, knocked on my door, what did you see? Someone out of my league who's in love with me, and I ain't sorry. I guess you came at the wrong time. I guess you were so wrong the whole time. You did this to yourself, now you find somebody else. Put my shit back on the shelf, bring regrets with you to hell. Well, I wish I cared more, but I guess I'm signing out. Oh, you did this to yourself, now it's cool, I mean, there's no doubt at well, here's a worry and all of the pain. I know there's only love left to gain. Yeah, you have nothing to hope but your shame. Deep down, but you did this to yourself. Now you found somebody else. Put my shit back on the shelf, bring regrets with you to hell. Well, I wish I cared more, but I guess I'm signing out. Oh, you did this to yourself, now this cool, I mean, there's no doubt at all. You gotta go, you gotta leave. Things just cannot stay this way. It ain't my fault, it's not my bad. Now listen to what you say, Lord. Leave me alone. Oh, you dirty cheap bastard, won't you leave me alone? Hit the road, hit the road.
You Did This. Gabrielle Graves. Love the lyrics in that song. As we go outside the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Tomorrow, the finale of our Into an Interview.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, it's a hot day, so I wanted to find a picture that had to do with water. And then I realized that all my podcast pictures usually have to do with water and boats and sunsets and sailing and such. But I found this cool picture that I took a year ago when I was visiting my mom in Daytona Beach, Florida. And this is over, what do they call it, in the Ponce de Inlet area near Daytona Beach. And you can kind of see there's this cool lighthouse that's over there that's in the background, and a boat on. Actually, this is a river, the Halifax River. It goes along, follows the coastal shoreline, and creates this cool peninsula. So you've got the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Halifax River on the other, and boats everywhere, and so many places to submerge yourself and cool down. And that's the kind of thing I would like to do right now, but instead I'm here on the patio of the last place on earth. But you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike Matthews, I really like lighthouses. They're like so cool.
Yeah, I have a lighthouse pop-up book, and it's actually kind of phallic.
Okay, Mike Matthews, that's like great. You didn't say like it's historic or that the lighthouses are majestic, just that they're phallic.
Yeah, that's sort of the big takeaway that everyone gets from this book when I open it. So I'm like, if you're going to open that book, watch out, it might put an eye out. So, Floyd, you had something to say about something? Sunglasses prevent you from going blind when really white men take their shirts off and show off their beer bellies. Exactly. Tomorrow we'll hear the finale of my Into an interview with Gabrielle Graves. Plus we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
You need to just go up and talk to her. Don't be concerned about a bunch of other bald guys trying to talk to her.
Chely, you could really be a motivational speaker.
I know.
Mike, I have a little bit of an emergency to tell you. What is it, John Deere the engineer? Well, we buried the last place on Earth. Yes. To keep it cool. Yes. Per your command and request. Yes, we did that. John Deere the engineer, why are you repeating everything we just heard earlier in the show? Because I don't remember where I buried it. Oh, dang it, we lost the last place on Earth. It's the last place on Earth. I think I left my car keys in there. Uh-oh.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!